Greetings hobbyists, this is Artisans of All, and in this video we're having a look at the 3 different types of spheres in Blender, their positives, their negatives, and what we can use them for. So these are the 3 major types of spheres that we have in Blender. In fact, let's just turn on wireframe so they're easier to see. We have our UV sphere at the top, a quad sphere in the middle, and an icosphere at the bottom, and they each have different properties that make them useful in different situations. So let's get started with the UV sphere, which is sort of the generic sphere that you often associate with Blender. It is made up mostly of quads, so we've got lots of different quad based faces, but we do have at the top a series of triangles that end up in one central point, which can cause some potential issues. But the layout of these quads can also be really beneficial. So let's start with the first thing. The general major use of this sphere is the fact that we have all of these lines or series of edges and they are perfectly horizontal. This allows us a lot of interesting options. For example, we could select a range of these, E to extrude them and then escape, and then S and then Shift and Z to bring out some sort of wider section here. It also allows for the opposite to be true if we just bring out another one of these, if we select from the top. So we come in here and select these, and then let's just up that. These are also very good to either extrude upwards, so that we've got a more solid shape. I'm just going to Alt and A with machine tools to align those, or the opposite, where we can select those top faces, again a few more, and we might want to extrude these in. And this still leaves us with pretty clean geometry, though we'll come back to that in 1 second. However, the big issue of this sphere is mostly generated by the fact that we've got this single point at the top and these series of triangles. The main issue with this, if I just bring in a cube, now this won't happen here because I don't have enough geometry on this cube for it to cause a problem. But if I was to have a more complex shape and we were trying to boolean these objects together here, because we get all of these points and all of these faces that become so small, this can cause some Boolean issues. So if you're ever having an issue with a Boolean where you're using a sphere, it's probably that we're intersecting with this point. Now that's relatively easy to solve. If we just rotate this round on the x-axis by 90 and we Boolean in this direction, at this point we've just got quad faces that are intersecting this cube, and this Boolean would therefore not be an issue. So we could do that without any problem at all. The other issue, and it's not a massive issue, but it is worth noting, is that because we've got these triangles at the top, this doesn't subdivide very nicely. Now do bear in mind, you can subdivide triangles. We prefer to subdivide quads, but we can subdivide triangles. So if I could just press Ctrl and 2 to subdivide this, you can see where this has happened here with all of these little subdivisions just about. In fact, let's just apply this. I'm just going to use hard ops to do that. You can see we've made everything smaller and more rounded, but at the top we get this strange star shape, and that definitely can cause us some issues where we end up with these elongated quads that aren't particularly nice to work with. Also, you end up with much smaller faces at the top, which just exacerbates this problem that we spoke about here. Now, because of that, if you are ever doing one of these operations where you're going to bring things in, so either extruding in or extruding out, I'd really recommend you select something like these faces, Control and plus those, delete out that face, and then just go into edge mode, select that face, Control and F, and then we're going to grid fill that, and it does make that much nicer to work with. And it also means that now this can be subdivided. Well, note we still have the problem at the bottom, but if we Control and 2, this isn't going to cause as much of an issue, and we can start going into this, and if we wanted to, start putting in some edge loops. Though I will say, again, not perfect here because of these quads here. But anyway, that's an option that we can do. Okay, that brings us on to our quad sphere. And as the name suggests, this is a sphere that's made entirely out of quads. Every single face is surrounded by 4 edges and 4 vertices. Now what this means primarily is that if I bring this to the side, this is going to subdivide very nicely. So if I just press Ctrl and 2 and then we'll just apply that, you can see that this has worked perfectly and you get no distortion to it. It also means that if we were to, let's just Shift and D to bring this cube down here, if we were to do a Boolean with this, whatever direction we come from, you are always going to be hitting quads, never triangles, and all of the quads are relatively similar in size. So this is generally the sphere that's safest to Boolean from whatever angle you've got. And if you want to Boolean a sphere onto a relatively complex or curving shape, this is the one that I'd use. Now, in terms of getting a quad sphere, you've got a couple of ways of doing this. First, if I Shift A, I've got the add-on machine tools, which gives you a quad sphere option here, but that is a paid for add-on. So it's up to you whether you want that. It does have a lot of other benefits. For example, this pie menu here, which I prefer to use to get into edit mode, and also the way that I aligned this here in the earlier part of the video was with machine tools. The other way we can do this is if we just bring in a cube and bring this here, we can, let's just scale it up, Control and 2, and by subdividing this, we sort of make a quad sphere. We can actually up that to, let's say, there, but there's a problem. This isn't perfectly round. Two ways of dealing with this. The first is that we can use another modifier. Let's come to our modifier panel. If I Shift an A and type in cast, we get a cast modifier, and if I put the factor up to 1, it will make this perfectly round. You can also go further than that and create some interesting shapes. The other thing we can do if we come to this one is apply this and then go into edit mode and then press Shift Alt and S. This allows us to turn this to a sphere. As you move your mouse to the side, you'll see in the top left hand corner you've got this to sphere option. If we bring it to 1, it makes it perfectly spherical. So that's two ways of doing it. The final way is that if I come to edit and preferences and go to my add-ons and type in extra, if you add in your extra mesh objects here, what that will allow you to do is Shift A, Mesh, and it now gives you all of these options, including a round cube, which is a quad sphere, and we can up this if we want to. So that is how we can create a quad sphere. Loads of different ways to do that. So even if it's not obvious where that sits in Blender, this is something you can get very easy access to. But then the big negative of this, if we just Shift and D and bring this to the side, is that because the loops around this are not particularly flat, then anything we do here, let's just E and then S and Shift and Z, is always going to be, well, not quite straight, which can be problematic. So that's where your UV sphere is going to be much better for you. And then finally, we've got the Icosphere, which is a sphere made entirely up of triangles. And I'm going to be honest, this leaves me at a bit of a loss of why this is particularly useful. I mean, okay, if we just make a new one, then we've got something that we could have that looks more like a crystal, if you want something to remember the crystal maze, but it's not going to do anything particularly helpful. We don't have any clear horizontal lines, unlike the UV sphere, so we can't expand anything out. And in theory, we can subdivide this because you can subdivide triangles, and then we apply it. We get quite an interesting sort of shape that is now actually all made out of quads, though they're very, very different in size. You get some very small and some very large, so not particularly great. So if you have any particular uses that I'm missing out for the Icosphere, do say in the comment section because I'll be really interested to hear it. Now there is one thing that we can do with this that I think is quite interesting. I'm just going to bring this over here and we'll have a look at this, and that's using the add-on Tissue. If I just bring out the M panel and go down to Tissue, you'll have to activate this. It's included with Blenders, so just go to Get Extensions in your preferences and type in Tissue. It has this really cool option which is Convert to Dual Mesh, and if we do this, it's going to turn into something that kind of looks like a football in terms of the shapes, though obviously not spherical enough. But if you quickly wanted to add some colours to an object to make it look like a football, this is probably the one you'd want to use. Now the final thing we can do with this, if I bring in this tessellate shape, is because of the way this is all made up of hexagons and polygons, we can do a specific form of tessellation with Tissue. If I just click on this and then the object, we can click Tessellate. And if we go to the fan type and click OK, we can get some really cool effects. I'm just going to H to hide this. So we get this really cool way of doing things, which can create some pretty crazy combinations. In fact, if I just go to this, let's select that and then S and X that in a little bit and then come here and refresh this. There we go, that sort of keeps everything a bit more in line. So we do get some really fun options that I guess we can do with this. I'm not sure it's something you're going to use a lot as standard. I know I don't, but there's some potential here. Now, if you do want to know more about how Tissue Tools works, I've got a video on that. In fact, 2 videos looking at a couple of things we can do with it. I'll leave a couple of links to those in the description because tessellation is a very, very powerful tool. Whether you're using on something like an Icosphere or you're doing it on a plane, it gives some really, really fun options. So anyway, that's our introduction to our 3 spheres, and hopefully gives you an idea of what we can and can't do with each of them, or at least what they're best suited to. As always, if you think it deserves it, I'd really appreciate you hitting that like button. It helps share the video around, and I'm hoping there's some tips here that are going to be useful for people on their Blender journey. If you want to help support the channel any further, there's a link in the description as well to the Patreon page, where for a few dollars a month you can get these videos ad-free and a week early, as well as other perks like being on the channel Discord. Hope to see you in the next video, and have a great day.